Okay guys, now it's time for us to start writing our brand story. A brand story that you can have on your website, that you can have on if you're printing papers to tell people all about your brand. Maybe if you are in a get-together, maybe you are in an event or something like that. It's very good to have this in your back pocket then. So we're going to write your brand story, and pause this video at any time because it's going to be a pretty heavy video. And that is because I would like you to have a very good understanding on how to write your brand story step by step. I'm going to walk you through this step by step. So let's dive into it. So in your business branding template, you can go to page number 10 to brand story. And here you have a small little explanation. You can also see that you're having a picture here, a picture where I'm going to explain everything to you right away. Okay, guys, so your brand story is basically what is going to get and keep people's attention by creating this story that people can relate, in other words, connect to. When we are having people's attention, we can start selling our products and services. So this is the entire reason why we're doing this. So we're going to take you step by step now. So first of all, if you look on the left top corner, you can see the Karate Kid. Okay, so I'm gonna take this from the framework of how movies are creating their movies to keep our attention throughout the entire movie, in the way that books are written to keep our attention throughout the whole book. So the Karate Kid is a movie. Have you seen it? If not, you can think about James Bond when I'm walking you through this. But the Karate Kid's end goal is to gain respect from the people who is bullying him. So I'm going to take you through this and step by step to see if you understand the entire story after I've explained this in 7 simple steps. So first of all, we're having the hero. The hero in this movie would be your customer, right? Because we already talked about this in the last video. You don't want the hero to be your brand. You want it to be your targeted customer, your potential customer, and your audience. So the Karate Kid goal here is to gain respect. Okay, so Karate Kid is the hero, and then we have the problem. The problem is the bullies, the guys who is bullying him, who's beating him. So this is the problem that we need to remove. And then we have the call to action. He can't take it anymore, so he's searching for a solution on how to get these bullies from his back, basically. So how is he going to do this? Because the bullies, they can do karate, and he has no idea whatsoever on defending himself. He don't know how to fight, basically, or defend himself. So what he is doing is he is meeting this guide. This guide in this movie is called Mr. Miyagi, and he knows everything about karate. Okay, so he knows everything about defense. But in the beginning of when they're meeting each other, this Karate Kid, he has to wax on and wax off different cars to basically learn some movements within karate, but it doesn't make any sense for him. So he's doubting his methods. But as you might understand based on the movie, everything works out in the end. But he meets this guide, and they're having a challenge to come over. So they are going into a competition together, and the Karate Kid with Mr. Miyagi, who is his coach. And their challenge is to win the entire karate competition. And in the final, he meets this bully guy who is bullying him. And of course, boom, no good story without a bad end, right? So he beats the bully and he wins the competition. And the change is then that he is gaining respect from this bully. This bully actually takes the trophy from the guy who is commentating the entire fight and gives this to Karate Kid. So he has gained respect. His goal is then achieved. And then he has his new life full of respect. You can see here his proud guide or his proud coach. You can see his face here at his new life. And why I'm telling you this framework is because you can use the very exact framework to create your story. That is exactly what we're gonna do. If you look on the screen right now, under all different categories, on all different 7 categories here, you can see that I'm having some text here in red. So your hero is basically your targeted customer. Their problem is what's in the way for them. What is it that they want to overcome? The call to action is what sparks their action to look for you, because you are going to be their guide. Your brand is going to be their guide. Their challenge is basically the end. How are you going to come over this problem and reach success for this company or for this individual person, whomever your targeted customers are? And then the change, the desired results. How does it look for your targeted customers when they are achieving their goal? And then the new life. So when they have their product or service and everything is good, when you have solved their problem, how is it going to look for them? What is your customer's desired life after that? Are they going to save a lot of money? Are they going to be better at playing guitar? Or what is their desired life? So I'm going to walk you through this step by step now. And the first thing we need to write down is the hero, your targeted customer. If you look at this small text, I'm going to read it out for you. Mark wanted to start living a more flexible lifestyle to spend more time with his family. Okay, so we're already inside of this story. Mark wanted to start living a more flexible lifestyle to start spending more time with his family. So who's the hero here? Who is your targeted customer? Mark, of course, right? And then the next step is to figure out what their problem is. So this is something that you would like to think about in alignment with your products and or services, of course. So what problem can you solve for your potential customer? So he knew that he needed to start his own business to do that, to live a more flexible lifestyle. To start his new business, Mark needed to educate himself. With his bad experience of education in school and very little money to spend, he felt pessimistic. So what is the problem here? Well, the problem is basically that he has very little money to invest into education. Okay, so now we have pinpoint Mark's problem, all right? And we know that he needs some education in order to start his own business to live a more flexible lifestyle. What's the next point? The next point is to call to action. What sparks Mark's action to take action on his problem? Well, one day he scrolled through the web looking for answers to his desire of running his own business from home and came across our online education. So what is it that sparks his actions? Well, of course, to run his own business, right? That is what's like firing up inside of him, because he knows if he runs his own business, he can spend more time with his family. Next step, meets their guide. So this is where Mark meets his guide. To his surprise, he saw that online education in front of him costed a fraction of the price he would have paid if he would have signed up for a physical course. So the course would only cost $15 and included a 30-day money-back guarantee. So where does he meet his guide in this story here? Of course here, the online education. So we are the guide. Me and Robin is the guide for Mark. So the online education is the guide. And then next step is their challenge. What is Mark's challenge? Mark hesitates. Could such an inexpensive course that's also online and risk-free still be valuable and effective as a physical? So the question here is, what is Mark's challenge? Mark's challenge here is actually his emotions. He is hesitating on if an online course would be as valuable as a physical course. We already know that Mark has bad experience with physical courses, but he has no experience whatsoever with online courses. So that's why Mark is hesitating on if this is even worth his time and money. The change. 6 months later, and he has now started his online business and quit his job after following the steps in the course. Great, right? So this is actually the desired results. Where do you want to see Mark? Where do you see your potential customer when you have solved their problem? What made this possible, he'd say, is the premium support in the course. You'll get all of your questions answered within 24 hours, which truly helps all the way. Awesome. So where is the change? The change is here. He has started his own business. He has went through with this course, and 6 months later, he has now started his business. And then the new life. What is your customer's desired life? That is what you would like to pinpoint in the next step. Let's have a look. Mike loves his new flexible lifestyle, where he can spend more time with his family while doing all the work from the comfort of his home. We believe in creating affordable online courses to change life. That is our slogan. But where here can you see your customer's desired life? Let's have a look. Flexible lifestyle. So you can see that it's basically a red thread throughout this whole text. If you pause this video and just read it through, you will have a better understanding on how you can pinpoint your targeted customers in a text, what's in the way, what sparks their action, your brand, of course. How can you be creative with writing about your brand without bragging about your brand, business, or service or products? And then also their competition. Their competition here would be that Mark hesitates. So his emotion may or may not come in the way for him to take an action on and desired outcome that he is looking for. And then the change. What is the desired results? And here it is to start his own business, which he achieved with using our online courses. And then his new life, a flexible lifestyle. So you can see a red thread throughout this entire brand story. This is something that we can put up on a website. This could be something that you have gotten some feedback from earlier customers when they have bought your products or services, and so on. But this is how you can write your brand story step by step. Now use this framework and be creative, and good luck with your brand story. See you in the next video.